Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world. And yes, this is a recorded video. I know it's been a while, but I'm hoping with Civ 7 here to be able to get back or start getting myself back in the habit and a little bit of a routine. I'm out of practice, obviously, with all the live streaming I've been doing lately, but I'd like to do some recorded videos again also. Maybe not daily anymore, but I'd like to get into the routine to get some out on a regular basis. I'm starting with Civ 6, or 7, excuse me. Yeah, 7. It is 7. I double checked. And because it's a game I play on my own in little short bursts anyway, so what I've decided to do, since it's my kind of zen, my relaxing game that, you know, calms me after a busy day kind of a thing, I figured I'd record them. Since I'm playing it anyway, why just turn on the recording and get going? There's just not going to be a lot of editing needed or involved, so that part shouldn't take up too much of my time, and we're going to give it a go. So today is basically the announcement video. I'm just basically... yeah, I'm basically telling you that I'm playing the game. We'll take a look at... well, why don't we just start? Let's go over to the mod page right now. Okay, here we are on the mod page. This is the Civ 7 mod manager that I'm using. And yes, there's issues with the UI that I think there are, and a lot of these mods take care of those issues. And so that's why I'm using them this early. Normally, I don't jump right into mods early on in the life of a game, but right now, to help out with the UI and whatnot, I definitely am. And Civ Fanatics is where I'm getting my mods. It's where the Civ mod manager is. Eventually it'll go away when I'm sure Civ 7 comes out with their own version of a mod manager and modding support. But for now, this is the best thing I could find. And you can search for available mods right from this mod manager. Shows you your installed mods. What's nice about it is it's all here. You can search, find, download. You can take a look at the Civ Fanatics page about the mod, etc., etc., etc. So I'll just run through the ones I'm using. We have a map tax that just got made briefly. I barely started using it, and you can put map tax wherever you want for, say, wonders you want to build, and any buildings that you might want to put on the map, or rural tiles. So it's kind of nice. It's been helpful to help plan out city building, which is a little different in this game, so it's been helpful. Etc. adds names and quotes for techs, and biggest thing, the tech and civic masteries, which were kind of generic and plain, and said mastery on them. Now it kind of gives a little more indication of what that mastery involves. Tooltips gives some more information on the plot tooltips. The improved mod page. Oh, well, we'll take a look at that when we get there, what that means. I'll show you. This is what I used before the actual mod manager to kind of keep track of my mods. YnAMP is the map mod that I used in Civ 6 and others, Civ 6. I think he was there, Civ 5. I can't remember how far back he goes. But anyway... it's available here, so some larger maps than what come generically with the game are available, so I like that. And then there's always the world map that's already been done. We're not playing on that today, though. Match colors, add some extra colors and borders and icon to make them stand out. Leader colors overhauled, same thing there. No gradients. The base game comes with gradients around the corners and up frame of the map. I'm not a big fan of those, so this mod removes them. Some more UI adjustments from Sukritact, I used his mods in Civ 6. Randomized city names, so you don't always get the same old city names when you're playing a Civ. We got some variety of icons, more icons on the tech trees and whatnot. So I like this little mod and what it does. Then we have some different lenses that don't come with the base game that I like seeing and using. And then I've done a little mod here to unlock all the mementos, because I kind of don't like that setup where you have to play a hell of a long time to get them all unlocked. And who has that kind of time? So I just got them all unlocked. So there. Now you understand or have taken a sneak peek at the mods I'm using. So you have an idea when you see stuff that you don't see in your game. If you've also been playing this game, that's where they're coming from. So let's get back to the main screen and let's start picking out who we are going to be playing with this playthrough. Okay, we're back to the main game stream. We're going to pick out a new game here for us today. And the person or character or leader, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to be playing with today is Tecumseh. You can see he has a higher number than some of these others, so I've spent a little time messing around with him, so I decided to start off with someone a little familiar, but I'm going to go in a little different focus with him than I did in the past. So we're going to see how that works out. I think what I've chosen to do jives nicely, especially with the unlocked mementos. That really makes the difference now that I've got those unlocked. But anyway, his base militaristic diplomatic focus means that these are his built-in bonuses. He gets an extra food and production per age in settlements for every city-state that we are suzerain of. So we are going to be focusing heavily on becoming or taking control of the independent peoples that we find on the map to become their suzerain. He also gets 1 combat strength for all units for every city-state you are suzerain of. You can see a little pattern there. We want to find the independent peoples and become their friends. So the mementos we're going to use to aid us in that are, guess what? You're going to find following that same line of thought. I have 2 down here. One is War Club. And that will gain us another combat strength for all units for every city-state. So this means every city-state will gain us 2 strength for our military units. So hopefully we find enough city-states to give us a huge advantage when we go to war with the others on the map. Then we're also going to pick Wampum Belt, and you're going to find a theme there too. +1 production per age in settlements for each city-state you are suzerain of. So we'll see how many extra production we can add to a city or settlement. It doesn't have to be just a city. It can be a town, because there's a difference in this game. But hopefully we can find a bunch of city-states and actually control them before other AI players manage to do that. So that's our goal today, is become friends with all the independent peoples and become their suzerain. This particular leader unlocks the Shawnee in the Exploration Age, automatically unlocks America in the Modern Age, and unlocks Mexico in the Modern Age. And we are planning to play through all the ages, even though my main experience or understanding, because I've restarted many times with many different characters to get a feel for the game, is in the Antiquity Age, which is what we'll be starting with. So when we get to the Exploration and Modern Ages, I have very minimal experience, and so that ought to be, you'll see me less you'll see me be less decisive or in my plans maybe on what I need to get done, but that's for some time in the future. Thank you, Tecumseh, for introducing yourselves. And we're going to start in the Antiquity Age here. Let's go pick out a civilization we are going to play as. The natural or more, I don't know, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, historical civilization that they say, that's why you see his picture right there, would be the Mississippian civilization. But for what I want to do today, that's not who we're going to play as. I'm choosing, and you'll see why based on what we're trying to do, we're picking Greece. I'm going to play Tecumseh as the Greece culture, cultural and diplomatic. The main reason is here we get +3 influence per turn on our palace, so our initial city we get extra influence, hopefully to gain more influence than anybody else, so we can become suzerains. We can become friendly with all the independent peoples before anybody else as much as possible. It also gives us extra 30% production toward constructing the Oracle. That's not a big deal to me, but hey, we'll take it. Our warring unit, the main one, probably won't be carrying an axe, as you see, will be the Hoplite. It's a Greek unique infantry unit, and the Hoplite itself also gets +2 combat strength when they fight adjacent to another Hoplite. So we have lots of ways potentially that we can gain combat strength through suzerain status and being adjacent with other Hoplites. So we'll see. This culture also has the ability for a unique great person that they're able to build, and once we set up an Acropolis, then we can build these units, and they come with their own specialties. Each Logios is random, and I'm not sure exactly on the pronunciation of that, but that's what I'm going to be saying. And for each one you build, the costs increase to build them. Now, we also have the ability to build the Acropolis. It's a unique quarter created by constructing the Odeon and Parthenon down here. And what pays off when you make this unique quarter is +2 gold on the Parthenon for each city-state you are suzerain of. Gee, a little pattern going here about suzerainship. We want to be friendly with all the independent peoples we can. And that's going to be our main goal, because it'll help us in many different ways. So, and then these are the 2 unique buildings for the Greek culture. Another one, the Parthenon, if we can find some rough terrain, if we're lucky enough to start with rough terrain in our start area, and I'm hoping there's a bias towards that playing as the Greek civilization. If we build it on rough terrain, we'll get an extra 2 influence here. Influence is one of the harder ones to consistently get and find a lot of, at least in antiquity. So that's why I'm going with this start, to try and give us a nice push and edge towards lots of different things, whether it be military, whether it be gold, whether it be also production. And production is king in this game, as hopefully we'll get that sense as we get in here to get playing. So there you go. There's our unit, our leader, and our culture that we're going to be playing as. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Difficulty, we're going to pop right up. I've messed around on lower difficulties learning the game. Now it's time for some deity. So we're going to jump right in. So far, I've not experienced that deity is as hard as, say, other earlier iterations of Civ, but other people will argue with me on that, but that's what we're doing. And we're going to play on epic speed rather than standard, only because of the map pack we're using over here. We are going to play the YnAMP modded Continents Plus, and that is going to be a larger map than we're used to playing with the base game. 128 by 80, so we're going to be playing on a massive map. So because it's going to be a lot larger in size, I'm going to slow down the speed so we have the time to explore this massive map we're going to be playing on. Any other advanced app options, we're not going to change anything on the top. Start position biases, we're not going to change anything there. For how they're determined, we're going to keep that standard. And then the age length, however, I'm going to lengthen it out. You know me, I usually play on Marathon on Civ 6. The times I streamed a few times just because I was playing anyway. And then the disaster intensity. I love me some disasters happening around me, and we're going to play with it on catastrophic. And we are also going to play with the crisis events at the change of the different ages. So I enjoy the randomness that can sometimes provide for us, and we're going to keep it on. So what we're going to do is we are going to launch the game now. And we'll get down there and at least get to our starting position. So this is more the introducing the fact that I'm going to be playing this game. Don't want to make this too long of a video. Just want to give you the background on all the settings we're going to use. And then the next video I put out will actually start playing the game. But I want to at least get to our start position so we have an idea of how we're going to be starting this upcoming game. So
the people gather together, debating music and politics, poetry and law, envisaging how to build a Greece that will last for ages.
Okay, let's check out the background on Tecumseh, the one who leaps across the great expanse. Tecumseh was a Shawnee chief who challenged the westward expansion of the early United States. Together with his brother, Tenskwatawa, he spread a message of unity and resistance among indigenous people. And although Tecumseh was killed during the War of 1812, his vision of cultural and political persistence lives on. And the Greek Empire, the city-states of Hellas were a constellation of powers, each with a rich history. Militaristic Sparta, intellectual Athens, wealthy Corinth, and far-off Syracuse. Fractious in their alliances, they were briefly united only once under Alexander of Macedon. Though subsumed into the Roman Empire, the Greek cities influenced Roman religion and thought, the math and science of the Islamic Golden Age, and even the founding ideas of American democracy. So, and we've seen the rest of these introducing earlier. So let's begin the game, take a look at our starting location that we're going to get to start playing with next episode. All right, so here it is. I'm going to turn on the yields so you have an idea of what the yields are: food, gold, happiness, culture, and that's what we see on the map. We have some... Yeah, we have some things here that I'm not super... they're far out and whatnot. I'm not super excited about gold, although it'll help down the road purchasing buildings and lowering that cost. Marble helps towards building wonders, but only if they're on grasslands, tundra, and marine. And if we're settling here, we're going to be far away from the coast, so that probably won't be something we can take advantage of. Now, tundra, we have a lot of tundra, so this will help a little. And then we have grassland, which I think was also there. Yeah, grassland, tundra, and marine. So the two of them will work for us. Maybe we'll get a little benefit from it. The cavalry just gives additional combat strength for our horses or horse units, and an additional one against infantry. And then this is the one I'm excited about. I'm glad we at least have this near us, because early on, this is an early source of production, which you'll hear me say often is king in this game. And the early food doesn't hurt either, and we're fairly near there. I'm probably going to end up settling right as is. That's my best guess right now. We do have rough terrain around us. Yeah, we definitely have rough terrain, so the Acropolis will be a thing we will be able to build. In fact, there's rough terrain right there even. So we'll go figure out how we want to do this, but that's going to come next time. I just wanted to set the setting for us for the next episode, so we just start right off with gameplay. So thanks for hanging with me on this one, and I'll share everything I've learned, at least in the Antiquity Age. You all will be able to share what you know when we get further in the Exploration or Modern Age, because my knowledge is limited there. And hopefully we'll have a good time. This is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. Thanks so much for watching, and I do hope to see you next time.